Hey guys, tonight we're embarking on one of the most peculiar and surprisingly tender chapters in Viking history, the Great Pillow. Raid of 876 AD. Picture yourself standing on the windswept cliffs of Norway, where the autumn mist clings to ancient pine forests and the scent of wood smoke drifts from distant longhouses. The fjords stretch endlessly below, their dark waters reflecting the pale northern sky, while somewhere in the distance, you can hear the rhythmic creaking of dragon-headed ships preparing for what would become the most unusual raid in Viking lore. You probably won't survive this journey without questioning everything you thought you knew about fierce Norse warriors. Because tonight's tale reveals a side of Viking culture that historians have whispered about for centuries but rarely dared to document. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. I'd also love to know where you're listening from and what time it is in your corner of the world. Drop your location and local time in the comments below. There's something magical about knowing we're all sharing this story together, scattered across time zones, but united in this moment of historical wonder. Now, let's find that cozy spot, pull a blanket around you, and gently drift into tonight's calm adventure. You find yourself awakening in the year 876 AD, but not as you might expect. Instead of the familiar comfort of your modern bed, you're lying on a bed of soft reindeer fur in a dimly lit longhouse. The air around you carries the scent of pine smoke and something else, something surprisingly delicate and floral. Your eyes adjust to the flickering light of oil lamps, and you realize you're witnessing preparations for what the locals whisper about as Pudaphile, the Great Pillow Raid. You sit up slowly, your body adjusting to the unfamiliar weight of woolen clothes and leather boots. Around you, Viking warriors move with purpose, but their preparations are unlike anything you've ever imagined. Instead of sharpening swords and polishing shields, they're carefully examining what appears to be an enormous collection of pillows, cushions, and soft furnishings. The scene is both surreal and oddly touching. These formidable Norse warriors, with their braided beards and weathered faces, handling delicate silk pillows with the same reverence they might show their finest weapons. You stand and move closer to observe, your footsteps muffled by the thick furs covering the longhouse floor. The lead warrior, a massive man with silver threading through his red beard, notices your movement and gestures for you to approach. His name, you learn, is Bjorn Softbringer, and his reputation extends far beyond the typical Viking conquests. He's known throughout the Nordic lands, not for his brutality, but for his revolutionary approach to warfare, an approach that prioritizes comfort and rest as the foundation of true strength. You see, Bjorn explains in heavily accented English, his voice surprisingly gentle for such an imposing figure. We have learned something that other warriors have not. The secret to victory lies not in how hard you can strike, but in how well you can rest. A warrior who sleeps deeply fights with the strength of 10 men. A warrior who tosses and turns all night fights with the weakness of a newborn lamb. You watch as his fellow warriors nod in agreement, their faces serious despite the unconventional nature of their mission. They're preparing to raid the wealthy monasteries and trading posts along the English coast. But their target isn't gold or silver, it's the finest pillows, mattresses, and bedding that medieval Europe has to offer. The monks, it seems, have developed surprisingly sophisticated sleeping arrangements, and the Vikings have taken notice as you observe their preparations. You begin to understand the complexity of their operation. Maps are spread across wooden tables, but instead of marking strategic military positions, they highlight the locations of monasteries known for their exceptional bedding. Detailed sketches show the layout of dormitories, the positioning of the softest mattresses, and even notes about which monks are known to sleep most soundly. This isn't random pillaging. It's a carefully orchestrated mission with a very specific goal. The planning session continues as more warriors gather around the central table. Each brings their own intelligence about potential targets. Eric the Gentle shares information about a monastery near York where the monks have recently acquired a shipment of silk pillows from Constantinople. Olaf Dreamseeker reports on a trading post in Northumbria where merchants from far-off lands have been selling exotic feather mattresses. Even young Ingrid Sleepwhisper, barely old enough to be considered a warrior, contributes valuable intelligence about the sleeping habits of various communities along the coast. You notice something remarkable about these Vikings. They speak in hushed tones, their usual boisterous behavior replaced by something approaching reverence. They treat their mission with the same seriousness that other warriors might reserve for a battle against a formidable enemy. But this isn't about conquest in the traditional sense. It's about something deeper, something that speaks to a fundamental human need that even the fiercest warriors cannot ignore. As the evening progresses, you learn more about the philosophy behind their unusual approach. The Vikings have discovered that the quality of sleep directly correlates with their effectiveness in all aspects of life. Better sleep leads to clearer thinking, stronger physical performance, and even improved morale among their communities. They've observed that societies with superior bedding tend to be more prosperous, more creative, and more resilient in the face of challenges. Bjorn Softbringer explains their methodology with the patience of a teacher, addressing a curious student. We have spent years studying the sleep patterns of different peoples, he says, his weathered hands tracing routes on the map. The Romans, before their empire fell, had magnificent beds. The Byzantines still do. The Arab traders speak of sleeping arrangements that would make the gods themselves envious. But here, in these northern lands, we have been sleeping on straw and animal furs, while our enemies rest on clouds of silken down. The practical implications of their discovery become clear as you listen to their discussions. A well-rested Viking army could travel further, fight longer, and recover more quickly from battles. Their raids could be more frequent and more successful. Their settlements could be more productive. The entire trajectory of Viking expansion could be accelerated by ensuring that every warrior enjoyed the best possible sleep. But there's something else driving their mission. Something that goes beyond mere practical considerations. You sense a deeper longing in their voices when they speak of comfort and rest. These are people who have spent their lives in harsh conditions, enduring long voyages across treacherous seas, sleeping on hard ground under open skies, fighting battles that leave them exhausted and aching. The promise of truly restful sleep represents more than just a tactical advantage. It represents a kind of salvation. As the night deepens, you watch the warriors make their final preparations. They oil their leather armor, not for protection in battle, but to prevent it from making noise that might wake sleeping monks. They wrap their weapons in cloth, not to keep them sharp, but to muffle any sound that might disturb their intended victims. Even their traditional war paint is applied with unusual care, designed not to intimidate enemies, but to help them blend into the shadows of dormitories and sleeping quarters. The longships waiting in the fjord below are also specially prepared for their unusual mission. Instead of being loaded with traditional weapons and supplies, they're equipped with specially constructed compartments designed to safely transport delicate bedding materials. Waterproof containers protect silk pillows from sea spray. Cushioned spaces prevent feather mattresses from being damaged during the voyage. Even the rowing benches have been padded to allow the warriors to rest comfortably during the long journey to English shores. You find yourself drawn into their world, beginning to understand the revolutionary nature of their approach. These Vikings have recognized something that their contemporaries have missed, that true strength comes not from the ability to inflict suffering, but from the wisdom to seek comfort and rest. They've realized that the most effective warriors are not those who can endure the most hardship, but those who can find ways to minimize hardship while maximizing their effectiveness. As dawn approaches, the final preparations begin. The warriors gather their carefully selected team, each member chosen not for their skill with sword or axe, but for their ability to move silently, their knowledge of textiles, or their expertise in evaluating the quality of bedding materials. There's Magnus, the quiet, whose footsteps are so light he can walk across a field of dry leaves without making a sound. There's Astrid, the soft-handed, who can determine the thread count of fabric with a single touch. And there's Thorvald, the dreamcatcher, who claims to be able to sense the quality of sleep that any bed can provide, just by looking at it. The atmosphere in the longhouse becomes increasingly focused as the departure time approaches. These warriors understand that their mission, while unconventional, is no less important than any traditional raid. They're not just seeking to acquire comfortable bedding, they're attempting to revolutionize the entire concept of Viking warfare. If they succeed, they'll return home with more than just pillows and mattresses. They'll bring back a new understanding of what it means to be a warrior, a new appreciation for the importance of rest and comfort, and a new model for how raids might be conducted in the future. You watch as Bjorn, Softbringer, addresses his assembled warriors one final time before departure. His words carry the weight of both tradition and innovation, acknowledging the unconventional nature of their mission while emphasizing its critical importance to their people's future. "We go not as destroyers," he says, his voice carrying clearly through the longhouse, "but as collectors of comfort. We seek not to spread fear, but to gather the tools of peaceful rest. Our ancestors conquered through strength of arms. We will conquer through wisdom of sleep." The response from his warriors is unlike anything you might expect from a Viking war party. Instead of fierce battle cries or thunderous applause, they respond with a collective sigh of contentment, a sound that seems to acknowledge both the strangeness and the profound rightness of their mission. It's a sound that speaks to something deep in the human experience, the universal longing for rest, for comfort, for the simple pleasure of a good night's sleep. As the warriors begin to file out of the longhouse, heading toward their waiting ships, you find yourself following them. The morning air is crisp and clean, carrying the scent of pine and sea salt. The fjord stretches out before you, its dark waters reflecting the pale light of dawn. The long ships wait at anchor, their dragon-headed prows pointing toward the open sea and the distant shores of England. You board one of the ships, finding yourself welcomed by the crew despite your obvious status as an outsider. The warriors seem to understand that you're here as an observer, a witness to their unconventional mission. They make space for you among them, sharing their carefully packed provisions and explaining their route to English shores. As the ships pull away from the Norwegian coast, you experience the rhythmic motion of the oars cutting through the water. The sound is hypnotic, almost meditative, and you begin to understand why these warriors have developed such an appreciation for rest and comfort. The voyage itself is a test of endurance, requiring them to work in shifts, to sleep when they can, and to maintain their strength over long periods of travel. The journey across the North Sea takes several days, and during this time, you have the opportunity to observe the warriors more closely. They're not the brutal raiders of popular imagination, but complex individuals with their own fears, hopes, and dreams. They speak of their families back home, of children who have difficulty sleeping through the long northern nights, of elderly relatives who suffer from aching joints and restless sleep. Their mission is motivated not by greed or bloodlust, but by a genuine desire to improve the quality of life for their communities. During the voyage, you learn about the extensive research that has gone into planning this raid. The Vikings have been gathering intelligence about English sleeping habits for months, using their network of traders and travelers to identify the best targets. They've learned about the different types of bedding available in various regions, the sources of the finest materials, and the specific locations where these treasures are most likely to be found. The monasteries represent particularly attractive targets, not because of any antagonism toward Christianity, but because monks have developed sophisticated approaches to creating comfortable sleeping environments. Their commitment to regular prayer schedules requires them to be able to fall asleep quickly and wake refreshed, leading them to invest heavily in quality bedding. Their connections to wealthy patrons and international trade networks give them access to materials that would be difficult to obtain elsewhere. As you near the English coast, the atmosphere on the ships becomes increasingly focused. The warriors begin their final preparations, reviewing their assignments and checking their equipment one last time. You notice that they carry specialized tools for their mission: gentle implements for removing bedding without damage, containers for preserving delicate materials, and even measuring devices for evaluating the quality of their finds. The coast of England appears on the horizon as a thin line of green and brown, gradually resolving into cliffs, beaches, and the distinctive outline of settlements. The warriors study the shoreline carefully, looking for the specific landmarks that will guide them to their first target, a monastery, known for its exceptional hospitality and, more importantly, its reputation for providing the most comfortable accommodations in all of northern England. As the ships approach the shore, you feel a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. You're about to witness something unprecedented in Viking history, a raid motivated not by conquest or plunder, but by the simple desire for a good night's sleep. The warriors around you are focused and determined, but their determination is tempered by something unusual, a kind of gentleness that seems to acknowledge the intimate nature of their mission. The ships glide through the shallows toward the beach, their movements careful and controlled. The warriors have practiced this approach many times, learning to minimize the noise of their landing and to move with the stealth that their unusual mission requires. As the keels scrape against the sand, you prepare to follow them onto English soil, ready to witness the Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD. The beach is shrouded in the early morning mist, providing perfect cover for their landing. The warriors move with practiced efficiency, unloading their ships and organizing their equipment with the same precision that other Viking raiders might use to prepare for battle. But instead of weapons and shields, they carry empty sacks for transporting pillows, careful wrapping materials for protecting delicate fabrics, and detailed maps showing the location of dormitories and sleeping quarters. As you follow the warriors inland, you notice how different this raid feels from the violent encounters described in historical accounts. There's no shouting, no intimidation, no destruction. Instead, there's a sense of purposeful quiet, a collective focus on achieving their goals while causing minimal disruption to the communities they're visiting. They move like shadows through the countryside, following well-scouted routes that will take them to their targets while avoiding unnecessary encounters with local populations. The first monastery appears in the distance, its stone walls and wooden buildings nestled in a peaceful valley. Smoke rises from its chimneys, and you can hear the faint sound of morning prayers echoing across the fields. The warriors pause at the edge of the tree line, studying the building layout and timing the movements of the monks. This is the moment when their months of planning will be put to the test. Bjorn Softbringer signals to his warriors, and they begin their approach. You watch in fascination as they move with the silence of professional thieves, but their intentions are so fundamentally different from what you might expect. They're not here to steal gold or silver, to burn buildings or harm people. They're here to acquire the tools of comfortable sleep, to gather the materials that will help their people rest better and live more fulfilling lives. The monastery's dormitory is their first target, and you follow them as they carefully make their way through the sleeping quarters. The monks sleep peacefully, unaware of the strange visitors moving among them. The warriors work with extraordinary care, gently removing pillows and blankets without waking the sleepers. They evaluate each item with the expertise of textile merchants, selecting only the finest materials for transport back to their ships. You watch as Astrid the soft-handed runs her fingers along the edge of a silk pillow, testing its quality and construction. Her face shows the concentration of a master craftsman evaluating a work of art. She nods to her companions, indicating that this pillow meets their standards and it's carefully wrapped and added to their collection. The monk who was sleeping on it continues to rest peacefully, never knowing that his pillow has been replaced with a carefully prepared substitute that the Vikings brought with them. This substitution system is one of the most remarkable aspects of their operation. The Vikings haven't come to simply steal bedding materials, they've brought replacement items to ensure that their victims don't suffer from their visit. The substitutes aren't of the same quality as the items they're taking, but they're functional and comfortable enough to ensure that the monks won't wake up to find themselves sleeping on bare straw. As the raid continues, you witness scene after scene of this gentle theft. The warriors move through dormitories, guest quarters, and private chambers with the skill of experienced burglars, but their motivation transforms what might have been a crime into something approaching a strange form of cultural exchange. They're not just taking, they're also giving, leaving behind items that, while not as luxurious as what they're acquiring, are still improvements over what many of their own people have access to. The monastery's scriptorium provides another unexpected discovery. The monks have been importing writing materials from distant lands, and some of these materials include luxury textiles used for bookbinding and manuscript decoration. The Vikings carefully examine these materials, recognizing their potential for creating comfortable bedding. They take samples, leaving behind carefully prepared substitutes that will serve the monks' needs without significantly impacting their scholarly work. As dawn gives way to morning, the raiders begin to make their retreat. Their sacks are full of carefully selected pillows, blankets, and other bedding materials. They've accomplished their mission without violence, without destruction, and without significantly harming the people they visited. The monks will wake to find their sleeping arrangements subtly changed, but they'll still be able to rest comfortably. The journey back to their ships is marked by a sense of quiet satisfaction. The warriors have achieved something unprecedented. They've conducted a successful raid that has enriched their own lives while minimizing harm to others. They've proven that Viking ingenuity and determination can be applied to purposes beyond warfare and conquest. As you help load the ships with their unusual cargo, you reflect on what you've witnessed. This raid represents more than just an acquisition of comfortable bedding. It represents a fundamental shift in how these Vikings think about strength, success, and the proper goals of their expeditions. They've discovered that true victory might not come from defeating enemies, but from improving the quality of life for their own people. The ships push off from the English shore, loaded with their precious cargo of pillows and blankets. The warriors are tired but satisfied, knowing that their mission has been accomplished. As the familiar rhythm of the oars begins again, you settle in for the journey back to Norway, surrounded by the gentle sound of waves and the quiet satisfaction of the raiders who have redefined what it means to be Vikings. The return voyage provides time for reflection and planning. The warriors discuss their experiences, sharing observations about the different types of bedding they've encountered and making plans for future raids. They've learned valuable lessons about the importance of comfort and rest, and they're eager to apply these lessons to their own communities. As the Norwegian coast comes into view, you realize that you've witnessed something truly remarkable. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has been more than just an unusual historical event. It's been a demonstration of how traditional roles and expectations can be transformed when people are willing to think creatively about their goals and methods. These Vikings have shown that warriors can be gentle, that raids can be conducted with compassion, and that the greatest victories might come not from conquest, but from the simple act of helping people sleep better. The longships pull into the familiar fjord as the sun begins to set, their dragon-headed prows cutting through the calm waters like old friends returning home. The warriors are exhausted, but jubilant, their mission accomplished, and their ships loaded with the most comfortable bedding materials that medieval Europe has to offer. You stand at the bow of the lead ship, watching as the familiar landscape of home comes into view, and you realize that you're about to witness the second phase of this remarkable story, the transformation of an entire Viking community through the simple gift of comfortable sleep. The news of their return spreads quickly through the settlement. You watch as figures emerge from longhouses and workshops, gathering along the shoreline to welcome the raiders home. But there's something different about this homecoming. Instead of the usual celebration of conquest and plunder, there's an air of curiosity and anticipation. The community has been waiting to see if Bjorn Softbringer's revolutionary approach would prove successful, and the sight of the heavily loaded ships suggests that it has. As the ships beach on the familiar sand, you help the warriors unload their unprecedented cargo. The entire community gathers to witness the unveiling of their treasures. Children who have never seen silk pillows gasp in wonder as the delicate materials are carefully unwrapped. Elderly warriors who have spent decades sleeping on rough furs reach out with trembling hands to touch the impossibly soft fabrics. Young mothers examine the fine weaving of blankets that could transform their babies' sleep. You observe the immediate impact of these materials on the community. The first night after the raiders' return, the village is transformed. The usual sounds of restless sleep tossing, turning, and the creaking of uncomfortable beds are replaced by something unprecedented. The sound of an entire community sleeping peacefully. The children who usually wake crying in the night sleep through until dawn. The elderly who have been plagued by aching joints find relief in the supportive comfort of properly constructed mattresses. Even the warriors themselves, exhausted from their journey, experience the deepest, most restorative sleep of their lives. But the transformation goes beyond mere physical comfort. As the days pass, you'll notice changes in the community's behavior and productivity. The blacksmith, who has been working with the same techniques for decades, suddenly begins experimenting with new approaches to metalworking. His well-rested mind is sharper, more creative, and he develops innovations that improve both the quality and efficiency of his work. The farmers report that their well-rested bodies have more energy for the demanding, physical labor of tending crops and livestock. Even the children seem more focused and eager to learn. Bjorn Softbringer becomes something of a local hero, but not in the traditional Viking sense. Instead of being celebrated for his prowess in battle, he's honored for his wisdom in recognizing the importance of rest and comfort. The community begins to see him not just as a warrior, but as a visionary who has discovered a fundamental truth about human nature and performance. His approach to the pillow raid is studied and discussed, becoming a model for future expeditions. The success of the Great Pillow Raid inspires other communities throughout the region. Word spreads through the network of traders and travelers, carrying tales of the Norwegian village where everyone sleeps like kings and queens. Other Viking leaders begin to take notice, some dismissing the story as impossible, others becoming intrigued by the potential implications. A few bold leaders even begin planning their own comfort-focused raids, adapting Bjorn's methods to their own circumstances and needs. You witness the development of entirely new trades and professions within the community. Warriors, who showed particular skill in evaluating bedding materials during the raid, become the village's first sleep specialists, offering their expertise to help families optimize their sleeping arrangements. Crafters, who had previously focused on weapons and tools, begin experimenting with textile work, trying to recreate and improve upon the materials they've acquired. The community's priorities shift, with comfort and rest becoming recognized as essential components of a successful and prosperous life. The philosophical implications of the pillow raid begin to emerge through long discussions in the communal halls. The traditional Viking values of strength, courage, and conquest aren't abandoned, but they're reinterpreted through the lens of the raiders' discoveries. True strength, the community begins to understand, includes the wisdom to seek comfort and rest. Real courage might involve challenging conventional expectations about what warriors should prioritize. The most successful conquests might be those that improve life for everyone involved. As autumn progresses into winter, the benefits of the pillow raid become even more apparent. The long, dark nights of the northern climate have always been a challenge for the community, but this year is different. The superior bedding materials help people sleep more soundly through the extended periods of darkness, maintaining their physical and mental health even as the harsh weather sets in. The community's overall resilience is notably improved, with fewer cases of the depression and lethargy that typically accompany the darkest months. You observe the development of new traditions and customs around sleep and rest. The community begins to place greater emphasis on bedtime rituals, creating peaceful environments that support high-quality sleep. They develop new techniques for maintaining and caring for their precious bedding materials, ensuring that the benefits of the raid will last for years to come. Children are taught about the importance of good sleep from an early age, and the community's values begin to shift to reflect these new priorities. The success of the pillow raid also leads to unexpected diplomatic developments. Other communities, having heard about the Norwegian village's prosperity and contentment, begin to seek alliances and trade relationships. The village becomes known not for its military might, but for its innovative approach to improving quality of life. Diplomatic missions arrive from distant lands, hoping to learn about the techniques and materials that have transformed the community. One particularly significant development occurs when a delegation of English monks arrives at the village. These are some of the same monks who were visited during the original raid, and they've come not seeking revenge, but requesting information about the Viking approach to sleep optimization. The monks explain that, after their initial surprise at discovering their bedding had been replaced, they became curious about the motivations behind the raid. Their investigation led them to appreciate the sophisticated understanding of sleep and comfort that the Vikings had developed. The meeting between the monks and the Viking community leads to an unprecedented cultural exchange. The monks share their own knowledge about creating comfortable sleeping environments, including techniques they've learned from their connections to Mediterranean and Eastern traditions. The Vikings, in turn, share their innovations in adapting these techniques to the harsh northern climate. Together, they develop new approaches to bedding and sleep that combine the best of both traditions. This cooperation leads to the establishment of the first sleep academy in medieval Europe, located in the Viking village, but drawing students and teachers from across the known world. The academy becomes a center for research and development in sleep optimization, attracting scholars, craftsmen, and even other warriors who are interested in exploring the connections between rest and performance. The academy's influence spreads throughout Northern Europe, contributing to improvements in health, productivity, and quality of life across multiple cultures. The personal transformations within the community are equally remarkable. You watch as individuals who had been struggling with various challenges find new solutions through improved sleep. A young warrior who had been prone to angry outbursts discovers that his temper problems largely disappear when he's wet. An elderly woman who had been suffering from chronic pain finds that high-quality sleep helps her manage her symptoms more effectively. A skilled craftsman who had been losing his precision due to fatigue regains his abilities and even surpasses his previous work. The community's children show perhaps the most dramatic changes. With access to comfortable bedding and an environment that prioritizes good sleep, they develop better physically and mentally than previous generations. They're taller, stronger, and more emotionally stable. Their academic performance improves dramatically, and they show greater creativity and problem-solving abilities. The community begins to understand that the pillow raid hasn't just improved their immediate quality of life, it's created better conditions for raising the next generation. As winter deepens and the community settles into its new routines, you notice the emergence of what might be called a culture of comfort. This doesn't mean that the Vikings have become soft or weak, quite the opposite. Their improved rest and recovery allows them to train harder, work more efficiently, and maintain their physical and mental capabilities at peak levels. They've discovered that seeking comfort isn't a sign of weakness. but a strategy for maximizing their potential. The success of the Pillow Raid also inspires innovations in other areas of life. The community begins to apply the same careful attention to detail that characterized their bedding acquisition to other aspects of their daily experience. They improve their cooking techniques, seeking not just nutrition but also comfort and pleasure in their meals. They refine their clothing and housing, looking for ways to make their physical environment more supportive of their well-being. The entire community becomes more conscious of the connections between their physical circumstances and their overall quality of life. The reputation of Bjorn Softbringer and his innovative approach spreads far beyond the immediate region. He receives invitations to visit other communities, to share his insights about the connections between comfort and performance. He becomes a sought-after advisor, helping other leaders understand how they might apply similar principles to their own circumstances. His influence extends beyond the Viking world, reaching into the broader medieval European community and contributing to gradual changes in how people think about rest, comfort, and the priorities of daily life. The economic implications of the Pillow Raid also become apparent over time. The community's improved productivity and creativity lead to increased prosperity. Their innovations in sleep optimization create new opportunities for trade and commerce. The Sleep Academy becomes a significant economic asset, attracting visitors and students who contribute to the local economy. The community discovers that their investment in comfort and rest has generated returns that extend far beyond their initial expectations. As the first anniversary of the Pillow Raid approaches, the community begins planning a celebration that will honor both their achievement and the broader transformation it has created. This celebration will be unlike any traditional Viking festival. Instead of emphasizing warfare and conquest, it will focus on the values of rest, comfort, and the wisdom that comes from understanding the importance of taking care of oneself and one's community. The planning for this celebration reveals how deeply the community's values have changed. Instead of competitive displays of strength and aggression, the festival will feature demonstrations of sleep optimization techniques, competitions for the most comfortable bedding arrangements, and presentations about the connections between rest and various aspects of human performance. The celebration will be both a recognition of what they've accomplished and a commitment to continuing their exploration of these important principles. You observe the preparations for the anniversary celebration with fascination, seeing how the community has transformed not just their sleeping arrangements, but their entire approach to life. The festival will serve as a model for other communities, demonstrating that it's possible to maintain traditional values while also embracing new understandings about what contributes to human flourishing. The Vikings have shown that innovation and tradition can coexist, that warriors can be gentle, and that the greatest victories might come not from defeating others, but from improving life for everyone. As the celebration approaches, delegations from across Northern Europe begin arriving. In the village, these visitors come not as potential enemies or rivals, but as students and colleagues interested in learning about the Viking approach to sleep optimization. The village becomes a center of international attention, hosting scholars, craftsmen, merchants, and even other warriors who are curious about the principles that have transformed this community. The diversity of visitors creates opportunities for even more cultural exchange and learning. Each delegation brings their own traditions and techniques related to rest and comfort, contributing to a growing body of knowledge about sleep optimization. The Vikings share their innovations while also learning from their visitors, creating a dynamic environment of mutual education and improvement. The anniversary celebration becomes not just a local festival, but an international conference on sleep and comfort. The celebration itself exceeds everyone's expectations. The festival features demonstrations of various bedding techniques, competitions for the most innovative sleep solutions, and presentations about the connections between rest and human performance. There are workshops on textile production, seminars on sleep hygiene, and even artistic performances that celebrate the beauty and importance of rest. The entire event reflects the community's transformed values, showing how they've maintained their Viking identity while embracing new priorities. During the celebration, Bjorn Softbringer delivers a keynote address that encapsulates the philosophy that emerged from the Pillow Raid. He speaks about the importance of questioning conventional assumptions, the value of seeking comfort and rest, and the potential for innovation in even the most traditional activities. His speech becomes widely quoted and influential, contributing to broader changes in how medieval European societies think about sleep, comfort, and the priorities of daily life. The festival also features the formal establishment of the Sleep Academy as a permanent institution. The Academy will continue to attract students and researchers from across the known world, serving as a center for ongoing innovation in sleep optimization. The institution represents the lasting legacy of the Pillow Raid, ensuring that the insights and techniques developed by the Viking community will continue to benefit people for generations to come. As the anniversary celebration concludes, you reflect on the remarkable transformation you've witnessed. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has proven to be much more than a simple acquisition of comfortable bedding. It has been a catalyst for profound changes in how an entire community thinks about strength, success, and the proper goals of human effort. The Vikings have shown that it's possible to maintain traditional values while embracing new understandings about what contributes to human flourishing. The success of the Pillow Raid has created ripple effects that extend far beyond the original community. Other Viking groups have begun adopting similar approaches, planning their own comfort-focused expeditions and incorporating sleep optimization into their training and preparation routines. The principles developed by Bjorn Softbringer and his followers are spreading throughout the Viking world, contributing to a gradual but significant shift in Viking culture and values. The influence of the Pillow Raid extends beyond the Viking world as well. The cultural exchanges facilitated by the Sleep Academy have introduced sleep optimization techniques to communities throughout Northern Europe. Monasteries have begun implementing improved bedding arrangements for their monks. Noble households have invested in better sleeping accommodations for their families and staff. Even common people have started paying more attention to the quality of their rest, recognizing its importance for their health and productivity. The economic impact of the Pillow Raid continues to grow as well. The community's innovations in sleep optimization have created new industries and trade opportunities. Textile production has expanded to meet the demand for high-quality bedding materials. Crafters have developed new techniques for constructing mattresses and pillows. The entire regional economy has been stimulated by the increased focus on comfort and rest. The medical and scientific understanding of sleep has also advanced as a result of the Pillow Raid and its aftermath. The Sleep Academy has become a center for research into the connections between rest and various aspects of human health and performance. Scholars from across Europe have contributed to a growing body of knowledge about sleep optimization, creating the foundation for future advances in medical and scientific understanding. As you prepare to witness the final phase of this remarkable story, you realize that the Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has become much more than a single historical event. It has become a symbol of the potential for innovation and transformation, a demonstration of how questioning conventional assumptions can lead to unexpected discoveries and improvements. The Vikings have shown that even the most traditional activities can be reimagined and improved when people are willing to think creatively about their goals and methods. The years following the anniversary celebration bring even more profound changes to the world that emerged from the Pillow Raid. You find yourself moving through time, witnessing the long-term consequences of Bjorn Softbringer's revolutionary vision. The Sleep Academy has grown into a network of institutions spanning Northern Europe, each one contributing to an ever-expanding understanding of rest, comfort, and human optimization. The original Viking village has become a pilgrimage destination for anyone seeking to understand the connections between physical comfort and human achievement. The influence of the pillow raid extends into unexpected areas of medieval life. You observe how the emphasis on comfort and rest has transformed military tactics throughout the region. Armies that prioritize sleep optimization consistently outperform those that rely on traditional approaches emphasizing endurance and hardship. The concept of comfort as strategy spreads beyond the Vikings, influencing how various medieval cultures approach everything from agriculture to craftsmanship to scholarship. The diplomatic implications of the pillow raid continue to unfold as well. The cultural exchanges initiated by the Sleep Academy have created unprecedented levels of cooperation between communities that had previously been rivals or enemies. The shared interest in sleep optimization has provided common ground for negotiations and alliances that might never have been possible otherwise. You witness the signing of treaties that are based not on military strength or economic advantage, but on mutual commitments to improving quality of life for all involved parties. The technological innovations inspired by the pillow raid have also continued to develop. The Sleep Academy's research has led to advances in textile production, furniture construction, and even architectural design. Buildings are being constructed with sleep optimization as a primary consideration, featuring improved ventilation, lighting, and acoustics. The Vikings' initial focus on acquiring comfortable bedding has evolved into a comprehensive approach to creating environments that support human flourishing. The economic transformation of the region has been equally remarkable. The industries that emerged from the pillow raid have created new forms of wealth and prosperity. Communities that embrace sleep optimization report higher productivity, greater innovation, and more sustainable economic growth. The principles developed by Bjorn Softbringer and his followers have demonstrated that investments in comfort and rest generate returns that extend far beyond their initial costs. The cultural impact of the pillow raid has been perhaps the most profound of all. You observe how the values of the original Viking community have spread throughout Northern Europe, contributing to a gradual but significant shift in how people think about strength, success, and the proper goals of human effort. The traditional emphasis on conquest and domination has been balanced by a new appreciation for comfort, rest, and the wisdom that comes from taking care of oneself and one's community. The medical and scientific understanding of sleep has also advanced dramatically as a result of the pillow raid and its aftermath. The Sleep Academy's research has contributed to discoveries about the connections between rest and various aspects of human health and performance. These discoveries have practical applications that benefit people throughout the region, from improved treatments for sleep disorders to better understanding of how rest affects cognitive function and emotional regulation. As you move through the decades following the pillow raid, you witness the emergence of what historians will later call the comfort revolution of medieval Europe. This transformation, initiated by a single Viking's recognition of the importance of good sleep, has created ripple effects that touch every aspect of society. The revolution demonstrates the potential for small changes to generate profound transformations, showing how innovations in one area of life can influence entire cultures and civilizations. The personal stories of transformation continue to unfold as well. You observe individuals whose lives have been changed by the principles that emerged from the pillow raid. Children who grew up with access to comfortable bedding become adults who approach challenges with greater creativity and resilience. Warriors who learn to prioritize rest and recovery achieve levels of performance that exceed those of their predecessors. Craftsmen who work in comfort-optimized environments produce innovations that advance their fields significantly. The philosophical implications of the pillow raid have also continued to develop. The Sleep Academy has become a center for discussions about the nature of human flourishing, the relationship between physical comfort and mental well-being, and the proper balance between challenging oneself and taking care of oneself. These discussions have influenced religious thought, political philosophy, and artistic expression throughout the region. The international influence of the pillow raid has grown as well. Trade routes that were originally established to transport bedding materials have facilitated the exchange of ideas and technologies between distant cultures. The Vikings' approach to sleep optimization has been adapted and refined by communities throughout Europe, Asia, and even North Africa. The principles of comfort-based strategy have been applied to everything from military campaigns to diplomatic negotiations to agricultural planning. As you witness the long-term consequences of the pillow raid, you begin to understand how this single event has contributed to broader changes in the course of human history. The emphasis on comfort and rest has influenced the development of technologies, institutions, and cultural values that will persist for centuries. The Vikings' recognition of the importance of good sleep has become a foundation for advances in medicine, psychology, and social organization that will benefit humanity for generations to come. The legacy of Bjorn Softbringer and his fellow raiders extends far beyond their original community. Their names are remembered not as conquerors or destroyers, but as innovators who discovered fundamental truths about human nature and potential. Their story has become a source of inspiration for anyone seeking to challenge conventional assumptions and find new approaches to old problems. The Sleep Academy has evolved into something resembling a medieval university, attracting scholars, students, and researchers from across the known world. The institution has become a symbol of the potential for learning and discovery, demonstrating how focused attention on seemingly simple problems can generate profound insights and innovations. The Academy's influence extends into every field of human endeavor, from the practical to the theoretical. As you observe the continuing development of the comfort revolution, you realize that the Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has become a turning point in human history. The event represents a moment when traditional assumptions about strength, success, and the proper goals of human effort were challenged and transformed. The Vikings' discovery of the importance of comfort and rest has contributed to a fundamental shift in how people understand the relationship between physical well-being and human achievement. The story of the Pillow Raid has also become a source of inspiration for future generations. The tale of warriors who chose comfort over conquest, who prioritized rest over aggression, and who found strength in gentleness, has captured the imagination of people throughout the medieval world. The story demonstrates that heroism can take many forms, and that the greatest victories might come not from defeating others, but from improving life for everyone. The influence of the Pillow Raid continues to spread as new generations discover its lessons and apply them to their own circumstances. The principles developed by Bjorn Softbringer and his followers have proven to be timeless, offering insights that remain relevant regardless of the specific challenges and opportunities that people face. The story serves as a reminder that innovation and transformation are always possible when people are willing to question conventional assumptions and explore new possibilities. As you prepare to conclude your journey through this remarkable story, you reflect on the profound changes you've witnessed. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD began as a simple quest for comfortable bedding, but it evolved into something much more significant. It became a catalyst for transformations that touched every aspect of human life, from the personal to the political, from the practical to the philosophical. The Vikings who participated in the Pillow Raid discovered that true strength comes not from the ability to endure hardship, but from the wisdom to seek comfort and rest when they're needed. They learned that the greatest conquests might be those that improve life for everyone involved, rather than those that benefit only the conquerors. They showed that traditional values can be maintained while embracing new understandings about what contributes to human flourishing. The story of the Pillow Raid demonstrates the potential for unexpected discoveries and transformations in even the most traditional activities. It shows how questioning conventional assumptions can lead to innovations that benefit not just individuals but entire communities and cultures. The Vikings' approach to sleep optimization has become a model for how people can approach other challenges and opportunities in their lives. As you stand once more on the shores of the Norwegian fjord, where this remarkable story began, you can see the lasting impact of the pillow raid in every aspect of the community that surrounds you. The comfortable homes, the prosperous businesses, the peaceful relationships, and the innovative institutions all trace their origins back to that moment when Bjorn Softbringer first recognized the importance of a good night's sleep. The sounds of the modern community are different from those you heard when you first arrived. Instead of the restless tossing and turning that once characterized nights in the Viking village, there's the peaceful silence of a community that has learned to rest well. The children sleep soundly through the night, the adults wake refreshed and ready for their daily tasks, and the elderly find comfort in their final years. The transformation is complete, but its influence continues to spread. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has become more than a historical event. It has become a symbol of the potential for human transformation and improvement. The story demonstrates that the greatest adventures might not involve traveling to distant lands or defeating formidable enemies, but might instead involve the simple act of questioning why things are the way they are and exploring whether they might be better. The legacy of the Pillow Raid extends into the present day, offering lessons that remain relevant for anyone seeking to improve their own life or the lives of others. The Vikings' recognition of the importance of comfort and rest has become a foundation for advances in medicine, psychology, and social organization that continue to benefit humanity. Their story serves as a reminder that innovation and transformation are always possible when people are willing to think creatively about their goals and methods. As you prepare to return to your own time and place, you carry with you the insights and inspiration that come from witnessing this remarkable transformation. The story of the Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has shown you that the greatest victories might come not from conquest, but from the simple act of helping people live better lives. The Vikings who participated in this unusual raid discovered that true strength includes the wisdom to seek comfort and rest, and that the most effective warriors might be those who prioritize the well-being of their communities over their own glory. The gentle sound of waves lapping against the shore provides a peaceful soundtrack to your final moments in this transformed world. You can hear the distant laughter of children who sleep well and wake refreshed, the quiet conversations of adults who have found balance between work and rest, and the contented sighs of elderly people who have discovered comfort in their final years. The community that emerged from the Pillow Raid has become a testament to the potential for human transformation and improvement. You close your eyes and feel the soft Norwegian breeze carrying the scent of pine and sea salt, the same scents that filled the air when Bjorn Softbringer first conceived his revolutionary approach to Viking raiding. The story that began with a simple recognition of the importance of comfortable bedding has evolved into something that touches every aspect of human experience. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has become a turning point not just in Viking history, but in the broader story of human civilization. The transformation you've witnessed serves as a reminder that the greatest adventures are often those that lead to discoveries about ourselves and our potential for growth and improvement. The Vikings who participated in the Pillow Raid found that their greatest victory came not from defeating enemies or acquiring treasure, but from learning how to live better lives and help others do the same. Their story demonstrates that heroism can take many forms, and that the most profound changes often begin with the simplest insights. As you open your eyes and prepare to return to your own time, you realize that the story of the Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD will stay with you forever. The lessons about the importance of comfort and rest, the value of questioning conventional assumptions, and the potential for unexpected transformations will continue to influence how you approach challenges and opportunities in your own life. The Vikings' discovery that true strength includes the wisdom to seek comfort and rest has become a permanent part of your understanding of what it means to live well. The journey through this remarkable story has shown you that history is full of unexpected turns and surprising discoveries. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD represents one of those moments when conventional assumptions were challenged and transformed, leading to changes that benefited not just the people directly involved, but entire communities and cultures. The story serves as a reminder that innovation and transformation are always possible when people are willing to think creatively about their goals and methods. As you take your final look at the peaceful Norwegian fjord where this story began and ended, you carry with you the inspiration that comes from witnessing such profound transformation. The sound of gentle waves continues to provide a soundtrack to your reflections, reminding you that the most peaceful moments often come after the most unexpected journeys. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has taken you on an adventure that was both thrilling and deeply peaceful, showing you that the greatest victories might be those that help everyone involved find rest and comfort. The story concludes as it began, with the sound of waves against the shore and the scent of pine and sea salt in the air. But now these familiar sensations carry with them the knowledge of what's possible when people are willing to question conventional assumptions and explore new approaches to old problems. The Vikings who participated in the Pillow Raid discovered that their greatest strength lay not in their ability to endure hardship, but in their wisdom to seek comfort and rest when they were needed. Their story has become a testament to the potential for human transformation and the power of unexpected discoveries. You find yourself standing on the shore of the fjord watching the sun set over the water, just as it did on that evening when Bjorn Softbringer and his fellow raiders returned from their unprecedented mission. The gentle lapping of waves against the sand creates a rhythm that seems to echo the peaceful breathing of a community that has learned to rest well. The transformation that began with a simple quest for comfortable bedding has become something far more profound, touching every aspect of human experience and offering lessons that will remain relevant for generations to come. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD stands as one of history's most remarkable examples of how questioning conventional assumptions can lead to unexpected discoveries and transformations. The Vikings who participated in this unusual expedition discovered that true strength includes the wisdom to seek comfort and rest, and that the greatest victories might be those that improve life for everyone involved. Their story has become a source of inspiration for anyone seeking to challenge traditional approaches and find new ways to address old problems. As the last light of day fades from the Norwegian sky and the first stars begin to appear, you reflect on the extraordinary journey you've just completed. The story of the Pillow Raid has taken you from the familiar world of Viking conquest and warfare into a realm where comfort and rest are recognized as essential components of human strength and success. The transformation you've witnessed demonstrates that the most profound changes often begin with the simplest insights, and that the greatest adventures might be those that lead to discoveries about our own potential for growth and improvement. The peaceful silence of the night settles over the fjord, broken only by the gentle sound of waves and the distant murmur of a community that has found its way to restful sleep. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has concluded, but its influence continues to ripple through time, offering lessons about the importance of comfort, the value of questioning assumptions, and the potential for unexpected transformations. The story serves as a reminder that history is full of surprises, and that the most remarkable discoveries often come from the most unexpected sources. As you drift back through the mists of time, leaving behind the transformed world of the post-raid Vikings, you carry with you the memory of their gentle revolution and the profound changes it created. The sound of peaceful breathing follows you through the centuries, a reminder of what's possible when people prioritize rest and comfort, alongside traditional values of strength and courage. The Great Pillow Raid of 876 AD has become more than just a story, has become a vision of human potential, and a testament to the power of thinking differently about familiar problems. The journey concludes, as all the best adventures do, with the quiet satisfaction that comes from witnessing something truly remarkable, and the peaceful exhaustion that follows a transformative experience. You've traveled through time to witness one of history's most unusual raids, and you've discovered that the greatest victories might be those that help everyone involved find rest, comfort, and the wisdom to live better lives. The Vikings of 876 AD showed us that even the fiercest warriors can find their greatest strength in gentleness, and that the most profound conquests might be those that conquer our own assumptions about what it means to be strong, successful, and truly alive. The sound of waves continues to echo in your memory as you return to your own time, carrying with you the lessons of the Great Pillow Raid and the peaceful certainty that comes from understanding that true strength includes the wisdom to seek comfort and rest. The story you've experienced will stay with you, a reminder that the most remarkable adventures often lead not to distant lands or conquered enemies, but to discoveries about ourselves and our potential for transformation. The Vikings who chose pillows over plunder discovered something that changed not just their own lives, but the entire course of human history. The simple but profound truth that sometimes the greatest victories come from learning how to rest well. If you enjoyed this ride, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss what's coming next. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this wild journey through Viking comfort culture. Drop a comment below, and let me know what your local time is and where you're listening from. Did this story change how you think about the connection between rest and strength? Have you ever had your own pillow raid moment where you discovered something unexpectedly important about taking care of yourself? Until next time, keep your curiosity alive and your nights filled with wonder.